So friends, Donald Trump's corrupt former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was looking for the United States Supreme Court to throw him a life preserver, and instead, they just threw him an anchor. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, you may have heard me say in recent videos that we are going to continue to look for the points of light. The points of light amidst the coming Trump darkness. And we're going to support those points of light. We're going to feed those points of light. We're going to try to help them grow stronger. Well, today's legal news provided a point of light from a pretty unexpected place, the United States Supreme Court. So for this one, we have to back up a little bit. Remember how Donald Trump's corrupt chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was part and parcel of Donald Trump's crimes to try to steal the election down in Georgia? You remember, hey, just find me 11,780 votes and corruptly declare me the winner. That's how Donald Trump tried to cheat in the 2020 presidential election, and he was indicted for it. And along with Donald Trump, Mark Meadows was indicted for being part of that criminal scheme, and 17 other criminal associates, co-conspirators, were all indicted together. 19 co-defendants in all who were part of that criminal scheme, that RICO conspiracy, that's the lead charge, to try to steal the 2020 presidential election. So once Mark Meadows got indicted, he filed a motion to have his case transferred or removed from Georgia State Court and have it handled in federal court. And the motions were argued, and the federal court judge decided that, no, Mark, your case is not properly moved from state court to federal court because you weren't acting within the scope of your official duties as chief of staff to the president when you were committing these crimes, together with and for the benefit of Donald Trump. So the federal judge rejected Mark Meadows' attempt to move his case from state court to federal court. The federal appeals court ruled the same way. So Mark Meadows beat feet to what he almost certainly thought would be a friendlier audience, the United States Supreme Court. And then this happened. Here's the latest reporting from NPR. Supreme Court refuses legal lifesaver for former Trump chief of staff. And that article begins, the Supreme Court dealt a major legal blow to former White House chief of staff Mark Meadows on Tuesday, refusing to move the Georgia election interference charges against him from state to federal court. The court's action came in a routine one-sentence order with no noted dissents. Meadows was one of 18 people indicted in state court on charges of illegally conspiring to keep then-President Trump in office after he lost the 2020 election. Trump was indicted on similar state charges, but the Supreme Court earlier this year granted him broad immunity from prosecution for his official acts and presumptively immune beyond that. Meadows sought to leverage that decision to apply to him, contending that the charges against him should at least be moved from state to federal court because he was a federal officer at the time the alleged conspiracy took place. But the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, based in Atlanta, ruled that Meadows is no longer a federal official and that even if he were, his actions were not related to his official duties. Among other things, Meadows was on the 2020 phone call with Trump when the then president unsuccessfully sought to pressure Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to flip the state vote. Or, As Trump put it in the tape-recorded conversation, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have. So friends, let's talk about the three main takeaways from the Supreme Court throwing Mark Meadows an anchor instead of a life preserver. First of all, this is bad for Mark Meadows. This is the Supreme Court essentially putting its stamp of approval on the decisions that were made by the lower federal court judges, saying that Mark Meadows' conduct, his crimes, were clearly not part of his official duties as Chief of Staff to the President of the United States. Two, by extension, seems that rationale could also apply to Donald Trump's conduct and crimes, that his crimes were clearly not part of his official governmental duties as president. And three, maybe, just maybe, stick with me here, friends, this represents the Supreme Court beginning to try to claw back some of its legitimacy, allowing the rule of law to be applied as intended. I say we take points of light wherever we can find them. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.